Here's your news for March 23rd, 2020. We're starting today with news from WrestleMania, as for the first time in the event's 36-year history, the show will reportedly be taped in advance. The story, which was first reported by PW Insider's Mike Johnson and later confirmed by both Dave Meltzer and Post Wrestling's John Pollock, is that the show will be filmed this week. According to the report, last Saturday, the next two SmackDowns were taped, while this Wednesday's edition of NXT has also taken place and was taped on Sunday. Tonight, the next two episodes of Monday Night Raw will be filmed, and on Tuesday and Wednesday, WrestleMania 36 will be filmed, before being aired on April 4th and 5th. Given how unpredictable the world is right now, it certainly makes sense for WWE to tape their biggest show of the year in advance, as we just don't know whether even small gatherings, such as the small crew involved with WrestleMania, could be outlawed in the near future. After WrestleMania airs in early April, the future remains unclear of what will happen next for WWE, and with NXT UK Takeover Dublin and Money in the Bank the next events for the company, WrestleMania may not be the only pay-per-view to happen without a crowd. One man who won't be at WrestleMania this year is CM Punk, as though many fans are still hoping for the former World Heavyweight Champion to return to the ring, that may not happen after all. Recently, Punk made a comment that WWE begged him to work a match at WrestleMania this year, but it turns out that no such offer took place. In fact, according to Ringside News, when Punk's name did come up during booking of the Showcase of the Immortals, Vince McMahon immediately shot it down, saying Punk is not to be trusted and has serious issues. The fact that Punk would make up stories that the WWE was begging him to return for WrestleMania only further proves Vince's claims, as while the straight-edge superstar is enjoying his time on WWE backstage, don't expect to see the best in the world back in the ring anytime soon. From one WWE backstage host to another now, as Paige has remained an active member of the WWE since her 2016 retirement, and last week was supposed to confront SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley. After the segment was supposed to happen on the March 13th edition of SmackDown, it was moved to a week later. And while Paige did appear to announce Bayley's title match at WrestleMania, she did so via satellite. During the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer commented on Paige not appearing live, saying, "Paige made the announcement by Skype because she didn't come and I don't know if she could have. Well, I guess she could have. She was not one of those willing to come. There have been other people not willing to come and WWE has been, both companies have been really good about it. It's like, you're not willing to come, fine, no problem, so they did the tape thing." Paige is currently in self-isolation in her home in California, and it's good to see that WWE are being so flexible with their stars during this unprecedented period. Now, the 24/7 Championship has been in WWE for just under a year, and while fans didn't like the title at first, it's gone on to become one of the most popular aspects of the company. This week, Riddick Moss's record-setting reign as champion ended as the WWE reported the title change on their official Twitter account. In a video, Moss could be seen jogging with the title, but when a referee appeared in a car, Moss quickly figured out what was coming. Sure enough, R-Truth emerged from the boot to pin Moss and regain the title before driving off in the ref's car without the official. The irony here is that had Moss listened to the CDC's advice to leave the house only when necessary, he'd probably still be the 24/7 champion right now. And we have no doubt that the former champion will be looking to get his title back as soon as possible. We're looking again at WrestleMania, as though the Showcase of the Immortals is usually the finale of the company's biggest feuds, this year could mark the start of another big feud on the SmackDown brand. On last week's show, it was announced that Bayley will defend her title against Naomi, Dana Brooke, Tamina Snuka, Lacey Evans, and Sasha Banks, though the match was originally planned to be the Boss versus her best friend. During Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer spoke about how this match could lead to a new feud, as he said, "The gimmick is that Bayley is all mad about a six-way, but Sasha, who's supposed to be Bayley's best friend, was mad until her name was announced in the match. They kind of got it pushed with the 'we'll do the six-way', which will be the start of the feud, and then we'll do the singles match when it's not so rushed. If the plan is for Banks and Bayley to face off at some point down the road, then it's likely one of them will be turning face after WrestleMania, though we don't know who. Given that Bayley only turned heel last year, it's unlikely that the company would be so eager to turn her back to being face, so fans can expect to see her face Sasha, possibly with the SmackDown Women's Championship, after WrestleMania. We are going back in time now, as in the late 2000s, one star who seemed destined for greatness was Mr. Kennedy. Not only did he beat 5 former world champions in his rookie year, but the Green Bay loudmouth also won the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 23, guaranteeing him a world title match down the line. Unfortunately for Ken, this World Championship reign never took place, as on the May 7, 2007 edition of Raw, Kennedy lost the coveted briefcase to Edge, who cashed in on The Undertaker mere days later. Speaking on the latest edition of Grillin' JR, WWE Hall of Famer and AEW commentator Jim Ross said that Kennedy was meant to win the title from the dead man, describing it as the biggest thing in his career. Ross went on to explain what happened though, saying, "If championships become too frequent and they change too often, they start losing credibility. Protecting the championship and the WWE title has always been a priority for WWE. It's a priority for AEW. Your main title has to be embraced and protected, and that's what Vince was trying to do here with that decision." Though JR is right in saying that titles should not change too often, it still doesn't explain why the title still changed hands when it was meant to, but with Edge instead of Kennedy. Ultimately, fans never got to see Kennedy win the big one in WWE, as after a series of injuries and hurting Randy Orton in 2009, Kennedy was released from his contract, and would join TNA in 2010, where he would become a 2-time world champion. One person who knows all about not becoming WWE World Champion is Braun Strowman, as, like Kennedy, the monster among men has seemed destined for a huge win, but has never captured the big one. Last week, the former Intercontinental Champion caused quite a stir online when he criticized people who have been financially affected due to being unable to work during what's going on in the world right now. When one fan asked him on Twitter what the WWE superstar would do if he was going without money right now, Strowman says that he isn't getting paid by WWE right now, as he's not wrestling and is legally classified as a private contractor. When asked to clarify if he was being paid anything, the monster among men assured fans that he wasn't being paid, which is very interesting, as WWE contracts do include a downside guarantee. That means that Strowman should still be being paid something during this unpredictable time, and unless the monster among men has a one-of-a-kind contract with the company, it's unlikely that he's playing fast and loose with the truth. We can't say for sure what's happening with Strowman's contract or WWE's pay, but sometimes it's better to keep your head down and be quiet rather than dig yourself into a deeper hole. We are taking a break from WWE to look at AEW now, as this week's Dynamite will be much different than what was originally planned. Originally, this week's show was supposed to be their Blood and Guts special, but given that the show won't have a crowd, the company have saved this special for a more appropriate time. Now the show will see Chris Jericho confront Matt Hardy in what is being described as the first ever confrontation between the two. When fans questioned whether this was actually the first time the two had faced off, Jericho clarified that this is the first promo between the two, and sent a warning to the Woken One that he's about to get schooled. This week's edition of Dynamite will certainly be interesting, and while fans won't see the Blood and Guts match, there's still plenty of reasons to stay tuned to TNT. Back to WWE now, and while the company has got a lot of use out of its Performance Center recently, the majority of the building has now been closed down. In following the advice of the CDC, WWE has closed down all training areas within the center, and according to sources, the only places still open in the building are those that are to be used for television shoots and the live shows. This means that WWE will still be able to film their weekly content as well as WrestleMania, but in this truly unpredictable time, who knows how long it'll be before the company has to close this area as well. Given how the world is right now, the last thing a WWE superstar wants to hear are those two fateful words, future endeavored. And this week, Bruce Pritchard spoke about what it means to be released by the biggest wrestling company in the world. As the executive director of SmackDown, Pritchard sees a lot of what goes on backstage, and this week spoke about some stars being allowed to go off the script. He said, "I think it does exist. I think there is that opportunity. And what I mean by that is that you take the opportunity where you're out on live television, and everything's live now, so go out and get over. Go out and make whatever material, whatever opportunity you're given, make it your own, and make it the very best it can be, and go get over." In 2018, Big Cass was fired from the company for going off script as he attacked a little person dressed as Daniel Bryan more than the big boot that was allocated in the script. Since then, the 7-foot star has had plenty of ups and downs outside of WWE, and it's clear that superstars should stick to the script to avoid a similar fate. Now, earlier this year, Vince McMahon caused quite a stir when he revealed that the WWE was looking at selling some pay-per-view streaming rights to other companies. Since that fateful 2019 fourth quarter earnings report, fans have heard relatively little about the state of any potential deals, but with what's going on in the world right now, it's unlikely that any other distributor will be snapping up WWE programming. One company that looked possible was ESPN, but according to Dave Meltzer, a deal to bring WWE pay-per-views to the ESPN Plus service has fallen through. He said, "I've heard that they're far apart on money. Vince wants a figure, and I don't know if it's accurate. They're in negotiations. But the figure I heard, and again, I don't know if it's accurate, and I'm not giving the number, but it was way higher than the UFC number, and I thought, well, there's no way they're paying that. And maybe it's like a first number, or Vince actually believes that his pay-per-views are worth more than UFC's, and again, is ESPN gonna jump into a big financial thing?" Despite this, ESPN will be airing classic WrestleManias for the next 3 weeks, so a potential deal between the two parties may not yet be dead and buried. Back to AEW now, as last week's show didn't just see the debut of Matt Hardy, but Brody Lee, formerly known as WWE's Luke Harper, also debuted, being revealed as the Dark Order's Exalted One. In a tweet, the Dark Order leader ominously posted, "Odd that you would welcome the wolf to a land full of lambs." Ever since Lee was released from his WWE contract last year, it was common knowledge that AEW was after him, and it'll certainly be interesting to see where his career goes as the leader of the Dark Order, after years as a member of the Wyatt family. Back to WWE now, and we've mentioned that NXT UK Takeover Dublin is set to take place in April, and this has caused a lot of chatter from the company's Irish superstars. While speaking to Sportskeeda this week, Sheamus commented on the show, saying he'd love to take part, but WWE hasn't contacted him about it yet. He said, "I'd love to go. I'd love a match with Finn, would be great. Walter, Wolfgang, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of great talent over there. I'm up for it all, but no one has approached me at all about it." As of right now, this show is set to take place on April 26th from the 3 Arena in Ireland, though, of course, this may change given the fact that gatherings of over 50 people should be avoided. In 2015, Balor and Sheamus had a match in that very venue, and it looks like a rematch may happen down the line. We're looking at some serious news now, as nearly 13 years after the Chris Benoit tragedy, the final actions of the former world champion continues to haunt the wrestling world. After murdering his wife Nancy and son Daniel, Benoit killed himself in June 2007, and since then, fans have been able to learn more about the talented but deeply disturbed superstar. Later this year, Vice will cover Benoit in the Season 2 premiere of their Dark Side of the Ring series, and during the show, Chris Jericho speaks about how intense the Rabid Wolverine was. In the show, Jericho recalls a non-televised match between the two, where Benoit failed to take a spin kick the right way, and the AEW star said he later found Benoit backstage doing 500 squats as penance for his mistake. It's this dedication to perfection that made Benoit be regarded as one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, but his legacy and career have been forever tarnished by his final actions on this earth. And finally, today we're ending with some lighter news. As while the global concern has everyone worried, people are still being able to have some fun. Recently, Game Changer Wrestling hosted the first ever social distancing match, poking fun at CDC guidelines for individuals to keep their distance during this worrying time. In the match, Joey Janela and Jimmy Lloyd are able to pull off some big maneuvers despite never coming into contact with each other, as the duo mimicked taking headlocks, lockups, and even shoulder tackles. Though it's important that people do try to follow the social distancing guidelines, it's good that these wrestlers were able to have some fun and provide some much-needed entertainment at this very worrying time.